It was a late Friday evening when Ethan Miller, a single father of one, decided to take his 7-year-old daughter Lily out for dinner. The week had been tough, long hours at work, juggling school drop-offs, and trying to be both mother and father to his little girl. Tonight was supposed to be simple, a quiet dinner at a local family-owned diner, just father and daughter, sharing fries and laughter. The diner wasn't crowded. A couple of truckers sat near the counter. A young couple in the corner argued quietly, and the waitress, Molly, balanced trays with a cheerful smile. Ethan sat in a booth near the window, Lily across from him, swinging her legs under the table. For a while it was peaceful. Lily dipped her fries in ketchup, asking her dad silly questions about superheroes. Ethan laughed, answering with the patience and warmth that had carried him through single parenthood. But peace never lasts forever. The door to the diner burst open with a bang. 2 men stormed inside, their footsteps heavy and their voices already loud. One was tall, lean, and twitchy, his eyes darting around like he was on something. The other was bigger, broad shoulders, a scar running down his jaw, his fists already clenched. They walked straight toward the waitress. "Hey, sweetheart," the tall one sneered, blocking Molly's path as she tried to deliver coffee to the truckers. "How about you give us some service? Private kind." Molly froze, her smile fading. "Please, you need to sit down if you want to order." The bigger man leaned closer, his tone threatening. "We're not here for food." Other customers shifted uncomfortably. No one moved to intervene. The air grew thick with tension. Ethan's instincts flared. He had seen this before too many times. Years ago in the Navy and bars overseas, in rough neighborhoods where trouble brewed fast. He could read the body language, the twitch before violence. He slid out of his booth slowly, telling Lily in a low voice, "Stay here. Don't move, okay?" Her wide brown eyes looked scared, but she nodded. She trusted him completely. Ethan approached the scene calmly, his posture relaxed but his senses razor-sharp. "Evening, fellas," he said evenly, his voice steady but commanding. "Why don't you step back and let her do her job?" The taller man spun around, snarling. "And who the hell are you? Her bodyguard?" The bigger one laughed darkly. "Looks like hero dad wants to play tough guy." Ethan didn't flinch. His eyes locked on theirs, unblinking. He had learned in the Navy that composure was half the battle. Aggressors fed on fear. Deny them that and you already had the upper hand. "Listen," Ethan said quietly, his tone carrying weight. "You don't want to do this. Step outside, walk away, and it ends here." But troublemakers rarely listen. The tall man shoved him in the chest hard. Ethan didn't move an inch. Years of training, countless drills, and sheer discipline kept him rooted like stone. "You made a mistake," Ethan said softly. It happened fast. The tall man swung a wild punch. Ethan ducked, grabbed his wrist, and twisted it with precision. The man yelped, dropping to one knee as pain shot up his arm. The big one roared and charged. Ethan pivoted smoothly, sidestepping and slamming his elbow into the man's ribs. The sound of air rushing out of his lungs echoed through the diner. 15 seconds. That's all it took. In less than half a minute, both attackers were on the floor, one clutching his wrist, the other gasping for breath. Ethan stood over them, calm, his breathing steady. The diner went silent. Every pair of eyes watched him, stunned. The truckers muttered in amazement. The young couple whispered frantically. Molly, trembling but safe, stared at Ethan like he was something out of a movie. The taller man cursed, groaning. Who the hell are you?" Ethan's jaw tightened. He rarely spoke of his past, but tonight it slipped out. "Navy," he said simply. The word rippled through the diner. The weight of it shifted everything. People sat up straighter, respect flickering in their eyes. The attackers froze, suddenly realizing they hadn't just picked on a random dad. They had picked on a man trained to survive war. The owner of the diner, an elderly man named George, hurried out from the kitchen holding a phone. "Police are on their way," he said firmly. The attackers tried to scramble up, but Ethan's presence kept them pinned with fear. He didn't need to touch them again. The threat of his skill was enough. Molly whispered, "You saved me." "Thank you." Ethan gave a small nod. "Just doing what anyone should." Lily rushed from the booth, wrapping her arms around his waist. "Daddy!" He knelt down, hugging her tight. "It's okay, sweetheart. Everything's okay now." When the police arrived minutes later, the attackers were cuffed and dragged out, still groaning and swearing. Witnesses gave statements all praising Ethan's bravery. A young officer looked at him with curiosity. You really Navy? Used to be, Ethan replied. Now I'm just a dad. But the officer shook his head. Not tonight. Tonight you were a hero. As the chaos settled and the diner returned to normal, Ethan and Lily sat back in their booth. Molly brought them extra pie on the house. Most people would have just looked away, Molly said softly. You didn't. Ethan sighed, glancing at Lily. She's watching me. Everything I do teaches her something. If I sit back when someone's in danger, what lesson does that give her? Lily smiled, proud of her dad. You're my superhero. For Ethan, that meant more than any medal or uniform ever had. News of the incident spread quickly around town. People admired Ethan not just for his Navy background, but for his courage as a father and protector. He hadn't stepped in for glory. He hadn't fought for recognition. He had acted because it was the right thing to do, because he was a man who carried his duty beyond the battlefield into everyday life. And for those 15 seconds in a small-town diner, the world caught a glimpse of what true strength looked like. Not just muscle or training, but honor, love, and the unshakable resolve of a single dad.